Hey, happy Friday. I am super excited today to have Stephanie Cook with us from Creative Planners. She actually planned my wedding when I got married. I can't remember how many years
Hi.
ago it was, but it was a beautiful, beautiful event, and people are still talking about it. But here we are in COVID,
Hmm.
and what are all these couples doing? And what a sad thing, but maybe we can make
It's
it happy. So
hard.
I know, Stephanie, you sort of tried to wrap your head around this and come up with some ideas. So welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been an interesting couple months, as you all can imagine. I was saying to somebody recently, I met with a new client getting married next winter and this morning, and I was like, I haven't found the pandemic wedding planning handbook, but I could now write that.
Oh,
Because it's just been a tough time initially when COVID hit. Of course, I was just on the phone with clients, moving a lot of weddings, and a couple were saying, let's wait and see. But clearly, if anybody wanted to have the wedding of their dreams this year, this was not the year to do it. Because any wedding that is staying is not going to be normal. And then all of a sudden, like everyone, we thought, oh, come June 1st, we'll know more and everything. And let's face it, June 1st came and went, and we were pretty much walking the same, toe in the same line of not knowing what our future holds. And we still don't. But we're fortunate to have moved to phase four, which I think gives people breathing room as long as hopefully we still stay safe and not have to regress back. So, all the weddings that are staying, totally replanning those, looking at, a lot of them are moving from the venues to the house. We have a lot more flexibility at a house than we do a venue. Venues are not even allowing dance floors, so that's like totally out. Weddings are going smaller, 50. If at a house, maybe a few more, but we won't say anything and not
yeah,
counting heads as carefully, but we're being careful. I mean, we're thinking very thoughtfully of larger space, spreading people out, handing out masks, handing out hand sanitizer, and just being thoughtful to make people feel comfortable because life needs to go on. We're living in an unusual time, and here you are, buying and selling homes for clients, so life does have to go
to
on.
go on.
It's just finding a way to go on that feels respectful, but yet still allows you to have these big, important moments like buying a new home or having a wedding or a big birthday celebration or whatever it might be. Just going to have a little different view of what that's like for the
So
next year.
are you finding, I mean, I'm hearing a lot of people are doing two weddings now.
Yes.
They're doing the family
Mhm.
thing.
Yes.
They're getting married, they're doing their
Yes.
little family thing, and then they're putting their big wedding off a year or two.
Yes. So it's interesting. I have two clients getting married tomorrow on their original date, and then one getting married next week, and one on the 25th. All these, and two already did them in May. But we are having a full wedding next year. Interesting though, one out of all those couples who did that, we had a walkthrough at Armour House. That's where the wedding was in Lake Forest. Such a beautiful venue, right? And all that. Then that night she calls me and she goes, I've got something to pass by you. She goes, I think we're going to drop next year's wedding. We're just going to have 25 people, do a small wedding. And I said, then let's plan it out. And we've just added chargers and beautiful linens and did really add it up versus those who are doing the simple one. It's a lot of them are just simple backyards or
Yeah,
maybe at a church and maybe 10, 12 people. And so everybody's finding their way.
yeah.
But it's definitely been a year of like one client. The mom called me after we moved the wedding. She goes, "So how do you feel about a pregnant bride or a baby running around in a year?" And I'm like, "I think
Oh, yeah.
anything goes.
Anything goes.
We
Anything
are in
goes.
a total new norm."
And the food, they can prepare the food like a caterer and deliver food. That
Yeah,
the food is
yeah,
okay. We still can
yeah.
eat.
Yeah, and you know what? A lot of
Catered
these
food.
venues where they were getting married, they are having their small wedding there, and the venues are like really encouraging them if they don't want to do it at their house, or some are doing it at church and just have a reservation at a restaurant after. I mean, everybody's got their own way of doing something.
Yeah.
But I've always been telling my clients, no matter what you do and when you do it, it should still be special and memorable. And then we can celebrate this Simply Wed time next year
Yeah.
at your other wedding and show photos of
Yeah.
your first wedding.
It is certainly going to be something that all of us will be telling our grandchildren
Right,
about, or
right,
great grand, whatever. And I heard one speaker at the beginning of this talking about um, during the time of polio,
right,
which was like this. I mean, this is
right,
worse. I guess I'm not a doctor. I'm not trying to say what's worse or whatever, but
right.
people had to be very careful, and
Mhm,
they
mhm,
had to separate, and they had,
mhm.
parents lived in fear, uh,
Yeah, so
and
scary.
but they did get to the other side of it, and a vaccine was eventually. So we just
Right.
have to hold on to that too.
We
Uh,
do. And somebody else equated this to World War II.
yeah,
World War II, they made tons of sacrifices, and not just for like a year. It was years, right? They were
that's
living
right.
with, and that's the time that the living room wedding existed. That's where you go look at all those old movies, which I know my mom's a big fan, so I used to sit and
Yeah,
watch them with her, and all those weddings that happened in a living room
yes,
because that's all you could do. And
that's it.
so,
My mother told me that the year her senior prom was, they canceled it. They said a war is going on. We're not
right,
having a prom. So it wasn't just.
right,
I mean, and people didn't have money for those things, but it
right,
was disrespectful and
right,
never happened.
right,
And
right.
right.
And they didn't
So,
think twice, and here we are mourning these huge losses, which we should. I mean, my daughter graduated in our living room, and so many people didn't have prom and all these wonderful moments, and who knows what the fall will look like, but, it's you look
as
back in
long as we're
history,
here and the
it's
most
healthy.
important people are with us, I
Yep,
mean, that's how I look at it. This is just a different moment in time. As long as we have our loved ones, I
right.
mean, that I'm not willing to give up, giving
I
my
agree.
granddaughter a big smooch.
Yeah,
But
exactly. Yeah,
everything else I can wait. If we have a roof over our head and
that's
food,
right.
this will
A
be.
And you can celebrate still with friends. I did a, pop-up 70th birthday party, front lawn. We
Yeah.
did we kept everything distance. You know what we did for food? We bought the little, fish, the little wood things you use for fish to create
Uh-huh.
wood boards? We did individual charcuterie for each couple. And
Oh,
all I
how
did was take
cute.
a tray, everything was self-serve, nobody was touching anything, and it was just so simple. They loved it, we
That,
had a guitar player, everybody was spaced out, and
look
especially
at
at
that.
70. And you know what? Everyone should be right now, invite some people to your backyard and do
Right.
something social distance. This is the year of the backyard party. I've
And
had a few friends over and I've done that, and they have loved it because everybody's craving to see each other. You just
yeah,
want to do it comfortably.
and I would tell you, I went into the city to visit with my brother, and we picked up our dinner, and we
Yeah.
were in a park, and
Yeah.
I felt like I was back 50 years, where
Yeah.
it was families, little kids, and they
Yeah.
were had the blanket out, and the
Yeah.
kids were, playing around. It was good old fashioned fun,
Yep.
and it warmed your heart to see all these families, and everybody respectful of everybody's distance, so we were not on
Exactly.
top of each other,
Exactly.
but it was
Yeah.
great.
I
You
mean, a
got your
friend of mine
dog
said,
there.
yeah, I think the backyard games and just hanging in your house
Yeah.
or going to a park is just the way to go. We recently drove to Colorado to visit our son, and you could clearly tell it's the year of the RV.
Oh, yeah. Oh yes, the millennials are they, and of course they're dreaming big and fancy. And I was actually in Lake Villa, and I saw one, and I'm thinking, you better have a lock and key on that thing because those are
Yeah, they're
they're
hot
a hot
commodities. It was
commodity.
funny. I was like, okay, kitchen cars are the big thing.
They are.
Anyway,
Anything else? How are you handling like hair and makeup if they want that done?
they're doing it
Um,
with masks.
with them,
So everything's being done, just modified.
not
Caterers I'm working with, I've got about 8 weddings that are staying. I actually just landed a new one for August. They were going to be destination in California. They had been May, they moved to August. Now we're doing it at their home. Um, Caterers are adapting.
yeah,
Tents are being a little bigger. People are just spreading out more. Hair and makeup can be done. Just being
spread out.
thoughtful.
Right.
Everything's just with thought, I mean, you can go get your hair done now, so then they'll still
Yeah,
come, but they're
yeah,
going to be in full whatever they're comfortable
right.
wearing with the PPE. They
And you
should.
can get the eyes done. You can get everything. So,
Yep.
and the
They'll be wearing
photographers are
gloves.
certainly no
The
problem.
photographers are great because they keep their social distancing. They're
Anyway,
Yeah, they're not touching the dresses. They're not doing things they used to
right,
do, maybe a little more so, but that's fine. That's why you have a mom or a
right.
bridesmaid or
Right.
something. So everything's just being done a little different. And I think that at first it felt like such a loss making these decisions and everything. But now I think people are just sort of readjusting their thoughts and thinking, you know what, I'm just glad, to your point, Betsy, we can just be together. We
Right.
can celebrate this moment. It's definitely not having the look we might have envisioned. If we want to do something big down the road, we'll still do it. But, I feel
Yeah.
sorry for maybe the bat and bar mitzvahs. That's not my business. I have a friend of mine that's her big business. I think they're just going to say, forget it, because how
Yeah.
do you get kids in together, this
Yeah.
and that? That's
Yeah.
a tough industry that'll take a hit. I think
Yeah.
it's been a hard time for the industry, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Hotels are still so struggling. Come winter, what are we all going to do, and how are we all going to look? Pritzker's doing a great job, but at least give us 100 people.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a very you want to keep people healthy, but you also want to be able to do what you
And
can do.
and I hope, I mean, I don't know this is, but I'm hoping that the state is looking at what works and what doesn't work. So
Right?
if they're seeing 50 people in a
Exactly.
hotel that has a big space and that's cool, we're not seeing virus
Right.
come out of there, then
Right.
they'll maybe add some people and go with it, where the spots where they're seeing hot spots and maybe a
Right.
problem, then they
Right.
got to shut that down. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
confident that they're
I
looking
think
at that.
what breaks my heart is anybody was planning a wedding who didn't have a planner this year. That would have been a little scary because it's just knowing what to do. And I have 3 different tiers of planning, and my
Yeah.
month of is handled by my assistant, Kate. And all those months of, I got on the phone with them. I said, look, let me help you, because
Yeah.
this is just such new territory. I mean, you have to know about force majeure and different clauses and contracts. Everything has been
Right.
tested, and are they doing right by me or not right by me? And
Right.
and I'm sure you're finding it in your business. I mean, obviously nobody typically buys a house with or without a realtor, but this is a year you just want a professional by your side, helping you, guide you through not just
Guide
an
and
emo
navigate and protect,
yeah, and not
because
just it's such an emotional look what both we do. It's so emotional. I mean,
right,
buying and selling a home isn't that one of your top 3 things you do?
right.
And getting married is always like a
It's
very
always in that top.
and so those emotionally charged items, when you have to adjust and regroup a little bit, I mean, not to have somebody there to walk you through that process, to me, would be difficult. So I've
Yeah.
offered my service to other people who don't use us, just to say, look, let me help you. Even if it's just a phone call to give you ideas of what to think about, what to
That's
consider, because
that's
it's hard.
wonderful.
It's
That's
a hard
wonderful.
time.
And that's another reason why we love you, Stephanie, because you know, the good people in the world are opening their hearts,
Right,
and where we can help, we are
right.
helping, and we got to
Yes,
just put all our gratitude, and I'm wearing my gratitude shirt today.
Oh, I love that.
We have to put all our positive energy into finding
Yep.
a cure and getting through this as
We
a
do.
world community. So
Yeah.
thank you, Stephanie. And I know
Hey.
now everybody knows they can call you because
Uh-huh.
the weddings are going to happen, especially now the later we get and people are going to be engaged, you know, usually now around there's a year. So
Yeah, I've gotten like 8 new calls in the last 2 weeks. It's gotten,
wow.
I think what happened the minute everybody got out of the shut-in, they got engaged.
Yes,
And they're like,
yes,
now
yes,
what?
yes. So, and they realize, you know what? We got to keep going. We're not going to not
Right.
get married because we may be here for a long time. So it's always good to
Exactly.
keep the perspective and to work
Yep.
with somebody as positive as you are. And thank you so much. Thank you. And have a
Happy
wonderful weekend.
You do the same. You take
Okay.
care. Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.